Estás en sintonía con WCEA-TV, tu canal hispano.
I love the like how everybody makes us feel comfortable here.
Good. And how old's your little boy?
He just turned 3.
Just turned 3.
Yeah, it's great to know they're safe and getting good care while you're out.
Good.
Better too, so that's great.
Yes.
Good luck to you.
Lisa, you want to say something?
Oh, since I was here like last year in summer, it's just been great because I'm finished my classes and also my son, he comes here not to the daycare. He loves the provider and yeah, we do maintenance and just keep the building clean.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And how old's your little boy?
Oh, I got 2.
You have 2?
Yeah.
How old are they?
4 and 2.
4 and 2. Are they cuties?
Oh, they're amazing.
They don't look like my kids.
So now everybody's learning colors and
They're all growing up together.
yeah, they're growing up together.
Yeah, my son doesn't ever want to leave her kids. They're like always crying to play for them.
But that's good.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
we're promoting reading interaction between mom and child, and so getting them school ready, and we do developmental screenings to make sure they're on track. So we get a lot.
Do your kids have a favorite book?
I don't know. My son likes
Morris
more
the
about
Moose.
like Elmo. He likes more Elmo like books.
Elmo.
Elmo.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, that's
Good. A reader and a mathematician. That's
Yes.
That's good, and they learn from each other, and
Yes.
they're part of a family, and you're
yeah,
part of
they
a bigger
play
family.
together. Like they get in, like in a group and they play. That's nice.
It's
That's
good.
good.
It's why we support early education and good,
Yep.
you know, daycare for kids. It's really important for them and for you. So
That's right.
It helps you be able to do what you need to do.
That's
too,
right.
so.
Your opportunities and your children's opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a twofer.
Yes, absolutely.
My son, he's learning to speak a lot more here because he needed help with speech. So he's actually learning more and counting really well.
Good.
Yeah, I'm really thankful for that.
Good.
Mine is learning English too. Like I always talk to her in Spanish, but she's like now learning English. Like.
Okay, so my name is Iris. I'm 20 years old. I have 2 beautiful girls. One's 8 and the other one is just turned 1. I just love ROCA. I just love all the opportunities I have from here. And I'm doing GED, and right now I'm having some difficulties with my legal papers doing in here. So, but
Makes
I
it hard.
have, Maria Jose, she's helping me a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, and that's the other thing that I know Molly helps you with, ROCA helps you with. If you have other issues, there's a way to connect to the state government or the city to make sure that
Or
we
even the
can-
federal.
Yeah,
Right.
even the
That's
federal.
right. That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. For all these pieces.
Because we want you and your kids to succeed. We want you to.
We've held immigration clinics here at ROCA every Monday of the month. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to say a couple things about the young people and then talk a little about criminal justice reform.
Yep.
We've really worked, as you know, to work with a group that most people sort of push to the side. And people talk about it, but what does it really take? And we actually got to using data, and you know this because we met before, we have to show off our dashboards and what is it. Because we figured out where we're failing. And we kind of use data to figure out and research, are we doing the right thing? And the tremendous privilege to be in their lives that have been so challenging and so painful necessitated us going, are we doing something that's helpful or are we not? And how does the data then become a proxy of being on track or off track? And so really we've embraced it on all levels. We're using data daily. Sheriff can share that with you. If somebody calls and asks a question, 5 minutes, here's the answer. We can tell you sort of what's going on. And we hit a high point at the end of the summer. We have this great dashboard that I love. But what it does is on a moment's notice, it tells you where we are on a high level, and then we can go back and we can look at an individual person, we look at a youth worker and a timeline. Clearly the sheriff and the senator has helped us. You cannot arrest a rat, and it's causing more problems than hope. So we think the use of data, the having very, very hard conversations, I can't tell you they're always fun. We'd love to allow both the sheriff and the senator to speak a little bit and see if you have questions.
One thing I was going to say about the data is that it brings clarity immediately to a situation, and so we know exactly what works and what does not work. And when you talk about the work that we're doing at the Sheriff's Department, we need to know what works immediately, because it not only helps the folks that are with us, but it also helps us with funding.
Yes.
And that's a huge thing, because when we're talking about getting money and additional resources to do what we need to do for folks, if we can show to them what works, what does not work, we can get straight to the point. And we've worked with ROCA for years now. When we first got there in 2002, you had just the healing circles with us, where your folks came in and worked with our population. And that has expanded dramatically to what we're doing now. And the fact that you're coming into the Boston market is really helpful to us also, because we also, as you do in Chelsea, have a lot of folks that need the help that you're offering. So it works well for us.
Well, I'll just throw my 2 cents in. I'm a huge fan of ROCA. I'm the president and CEO of the Molly Baldwin fan club. Molly Baldwin. We all talk about, the sheriff just said, measuring data. We had them up to the State House a while back, and we had the Boston delegation come in. And there were some people that weren't comfortable coming in and changing the way things are happening today. But they have all their information backed up 2, 3 times, and when they see the ROCA van coming down the street, the young people in this community, they can try to run, but they're going to catch them, because they will bring them back in, and people that need a second chance, third chance, fourth chance. When you leave, it's hard to come back. They want to get you back. So I'm a big fan. They're in Western Mass. They're going into Boston. The people in Chelsea love them, but Everett, my whole district, they play a big part in my entire district. So whatever we can do in terms of providing resources and giving them exposure. The fact that we have a U.S. Senator coming here, we have the next governor here, shows that they're doing something good and they deserve this attention. So I'm happy to be part of it.
And you know what I love about what you do, Molly, is we've got all these numbers, we've got the data, but behind every one of these numbers is a kid who wants to succeed. We just saw those wonderful young mothers. They all have different circumstances. They all need help. They need to feel part of a family that cares about them. And that's what's so important about this and why you will be successful, because all of your staff, we look at the numbers, we look at success, but one-on-one we have to make this work. And it's always the challenge, to say, we've got these numbers, we've got all these cases, but we measure success kid by kid. Absolutely. And you and your staff pay attention to that, and you give the supports that don't show up in the numbers or the documents to the kids to be successful.
We've really woven in behavioral health to our everyday practice.
Excellent.
And upgrading that, and so it's something we really look forward to talking with you about. From a very informal version of it to, we should have followed some people around until someone would pay attention to us. So we've got somebody at Mass General at a new institute really interested in helping us create a CBT curriculum just for this group, because there's nothing specific for this group. And so I've been kind of watching with great interest, because how do you take those best practices that are helping people with mental health, substance abuse, and get them to the street? Because not everybody's ready to go to the counselor. The sheriff can tell you we're constantly pushing on, we have to learn more of this. So we would be really excited to talk with you further about that.
And this is where some resources around that would be huge, because the sheriff knows, we talked about it, I know from the populations I've seen, so many of these kids either themselves or come from families where either mental health, behavioral health, substance abuse is a huge issue. We need to deal with that, sometimes with the underlying behavioral health, and that's often what indicates the behavior. So unless we're dealing with that underlying problem, we can't get at developing the job skills and the relationships they need to be successful.
To make sure that poverty, fractured households, and schooling is really looked at in a real way, that really helps.
Well, you've really heard that from the young women.
Exactly.
We were just talking with about family and what it meant to them both as mamas, but what it means that their children are now part of a more extended family to help support. Boy, that makes a big difference.
And there are people that have the fourth problem, which is the mental health, disorders that need serious clinical attention. We can do it, but there's a stigma around doing it, and there's resources that are lacking. So that's my big commitment, because if we can get at that, we will address some of your population, Sheriff, people who are homeless, families of all demographics who think there's a stigma attached to getting help for mental illness.
Exactly.
But I am convinced, even with what we've got at this table, we've got a great team. And we were talking earlier about, you know, some of the folks that end up in trouble that you can help, We were just at Roxbury Community College talking about developing a curriculum that we can integrate now for kids who want that extra degree. They're getting a first job, but now they want to get extra skills, and how we can create that cradle to career for kids and families who need it. It's a good investment, I think.
Okay, my name is Divisay, and I am a reporter for Planeta newspaper, which is a Spanish publication here. And I have two questions. One of them is, what are the specific actions that you want to take in order to address the youth violence here? And from this partnership, I mean.
I have, as many people have here, been working in criminal justice, law enforcement for a long time. We do know what works, and what works is when we have partnerships, as we talked about today, for families, for individuals who don't get a good education, don't get a good job. There's a vacuum that allows for violence to spread in the streets and sometimes in our homes. But I know for community safety, when we work together, as I will as governor, I've been an assistant DA, a district attorney, as attorney general now, I know that we spend money on our court systems, money on our incarceration, and we need to do better on keeping kids out of trouble, and specifically investing in prevention programs when people make a mistake, specifically investing in programs like ROCA that we know work, and we're delighted to see this model here and hope that we can do this around the state. I know that we can, with more resources for mental health and drug abuse, with the sheriff and with the courts, we can make a real impact, I think, on keeping people safe, keeping kids out of trouble, getting them job skills, and getting them to work. And then we will turn this economy around for everybody, and we'll close out that vacuum that allows for violence to spread sometimes in our homes, our schools, or our communities.
Okay, thank you. And there is a huge concern in the immigrant community about the driver license for undocumented people. So what is your position on that issue?
And I have heard that concern, particularly in the last year, when there's been no offense, Senator, but there's been very little action at the federal level around immigration reform. I support the DREAM Act, I always have. I've heard that concern, and what I have said, because I want the input from our immigrant community, and I'm looking what other states do, I am going to appoint a director of immigrant and community safety who will work directly with me to see what those concerns are and how we can address them here in Massachusetts going forward.
Everyone now turns to the question of who will be Attorney General next. I'm looking forward to seeing whom the president nominates for this.
Do you have anybody in mind that you would like to see step up and fill that role?
Well, I happen to be very fond of the current governor of Massachusetts, and but I have to say, I don't want to start any rumors here. I have not spoken with the governor about this. I don't know what the governor's wishes are, but it is a reminder he has been a dedicated public servant. He's been out there fighting on behalf of our families for 8 years here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And if he chose to serve, I would be an enormously strong supporter.
Can I just say one thing about Attorney General Holder? In all of my time as a district attorney and attorney general at the state level, I've been impressed with his extraordinary ability to reach out and listen to what's happening at the state level around preventing violence, as we're talking about today, around consumer issues and all the kinds of things that I've tried to do as Attorney General of Massachusetts. He's been a terrific partner for us at the state level, and that's somebody that we need as Attorney General, who will be aware so much of what's happening at the state level now and be listening to those of us who are trying to do the right thing at the state level.
Y bien, esto ha sido todo por hoy. Los invitamos a que continúen alerta para una próxima edición de El Planeta Hoy.